So let's go ahead and do El Mario Zone. Yep. Ever play Xenoblade Chronicles? Here's the interesting thing. I'm actually quite behind on everything in video game related, but like, I did play Xenoblade Chronicles. I was a good RPG fan. Even though I like Last Story better. Oh snap. Oh man, that's mean. So it's interesting because, like, the whole premise of the idea, or so the story goes, like, this dude was going to work, and then this idea hits him for this game. And so then he gets to work, and he has, like, some people there working, like, hey, we want to, like, pretend like you're sword fighting with each other, and what positions offer the most surface area, because it's essentially the entire world, overworld of Xenoblade Chronicles, are two giant titans fighting, and then they've like become frozen in time. Ha! So there are the Bionis and the Mechonis. You start on the Bionis and you get to explore, you know, a good portion of it, not completely, but most of the Bionis, which is actually interesting because it's very like biological. You have like beautiful like environments, beautiful themes, like essentially mimicking nature, right? Uh-oh. I thought they were all spikes. And so then you get to the Mechonis, which unsurprisingly, like its name implies, is all essentially mechanical. So the giant gears in this macro land level reminded me of, to me, okay, I was unsure of what the platforming situation was there. Yay. So, whereas we get to explore all of these beautiful nature levels, by the time we get to the Mechonis, to me it was extremely boring second half of the game because it was just all mechanics and gears and everything. And I mean, I don't know, it just, when something is man-made, it seems to have this weird, not as interesting as like real-life nature sort of environments. What the crap just happened? Did you? I had this power up. I had the fire flower. I collected the mushroom and it like demoted me. It demoted me. That is mean. Ah. Interesting. Gonna have to figure out how these bad boys work. When I hit that point of you have the money to buy any video game you want, but you certainly, then you discover you don't have the time to play them all. It became the case where I very quickly bought way too many video games. And I mean, even as a kid, like if I bought a game, I beat it. I would never buy like more because I didn't have the money. Basically, was the problem there. But then when you know have a job and then can buy games like buy a brand new game for $10 or $20, you know, the third-party games that the price drops like crazy after a meager 1 year or something. Or sometimes things went on sale, so I went from having no video game backlog as a kid to suddenly having like, you know, 10 unbeaten games and then 20 and then 30 and 40. I think I was up to approximately the worst I ever got, and the sad thing is I know that the rest of the world is even worse, never finishing what they start. But as far as my personal video game backlog goes, the worst I got was somewhere between 50 and 60 unbeaten games. And the saddest thing about that is a lot of them were never even touched. Like, I mean, I remember, even though I eventually got to it, and then honestly, I'm okay. I never have to play another Monster Hunter game again, but I was originally extremely excited for Monster Hunter Tri, right? And the thing is, it comes in, and then it sits there on my shelf, and the fascinating thing is, the longer you own something, no matter how excited you are, the longer it sits on your shelf, unplayed or unwatched or unread, depending if it's a book, movie, or video game, the less excited you get about it. And so to remedy that problem, it's like, no, I'm not gonna have a video game backlog. So at some point, I'm like, we have the stop sign. No new games. Unless, like I said, if you're physically going to play this game next, you can buy it. But you can't buy something for it to sit on your shelf. I thought that was a decent dodge. So thus began my ultimate quest. I call it the Epic Trudge, and a lot of them were lengthy RPGs, because I mean, I love RPGs. Especially that might be rooted, I mean, there's a lot of factors, obviously. I know one factor was long video games, not just RPGs. Long video games appealed to me as a kid because if I had to save up for months, maybe sometimes even a year, for a single video game, it's not, I didn't want to be able to, you know, like beat it in a single setting or in a single day. I mean, I remember my sister disgustingly asked me once, like, goodness, what was it? I don't even remember the video game itself. But after a short amount of time, within a week, I think, I had beat the game, and she asks me, like, oh, it's the Three Little Pigs. In a little, like, disgusted voice, did you beat it already? Because, like, maybe she felt sorry for me, too, as far as, like, save up for a video game an entire year. What does this do? So yeah, if there was a video game that I could play longer than a day or week, and it would keep me occupied, then yeah, by all means. And RPGs, I mean, yeah, they're long, but I do love RPGs as well. It wasn't just because they're like, you know, these 100-hour epics. But what's fascinating today is like if I know a video game is going to last a long time and going to take a long time for me to play through it, it's like almost intimidating to me.